Hi, and welcome back to the Love to Mom podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jerry, and I'm joined by my old and elderly mother, Christy.
Yes. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
Yes, and even though I just insulted you, this is our Mother's Day edition of the Love to Mom
Yeah.
podcast. It won't be Mother's Day when this episode comes out, but we are recording this on Mother's Day. So
Yes.
I hope that everybody wished their mom a happy Mother's Day. And if you are a mother, happy Mother's Day to you.
Yes. Happy
So
Mother's Day, everybody. It's a beautiful day.
it's really hot out
Mm.
here in Minnesota, but that's okay. But speaking
Kind
of
of the opposite weather as what we have from our movie.
exactly, yeah. Okay. So I guess maybe without further ado, I need to introduce my doggie. Her name is
Oh, look
Edna.
at that. Oh, Edna. She's so cute. I
She-
love her.
She does not want to be away from me for a second. I got her yesterday, and I can't even be alone for 5 minutes without her sitting down and wanting to be on my lap. And for reference, she is 45 pounds. So she is not a lap dog, but she is trying.
But she is a lap dog. She just doesn't know. You don't know that she is a lap dog.
If I have to lift her up every episode, we're in trouble. But if I'm moving weird or sitting funny, that's why. Because she is in my lap right now. And I hope it won't distract us too much from our very thoughtful and insightful discussion of grumpy old
Yes.
men. And this was your pick.
It was my pick.
So why'd you pick it?
Well, we were talking about something last week with Walter Matthau, and now for the life of me, I cannot think of what. Oh, okay. So it was the guy that wrote Paris, Texas. Was it he was in a movie with Walter Matthau? There was some tie with Walter Matthau, and that made me think of Grumpy Old Men. And then I was like, yes, let's watch Grumpy Old Men. But I can't remember. I know it was the writer. I'm pretty sure. Now I'm guessing myself on that as well.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. I
But
think
that
that's
does
right.
sound familiar, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. So anyway, he came up in conversation, and then I was like, Grumpy Old Men, oh man, that's good memories for me. We should watch it. So that is why we are watching it this week.
Yeah, yeah. And I watched it, and it was very, very good. This is one, since I moved up to Minnesota in October, I've gotten multiple recommendations from Minnesota locals saying that now that I'm up here, I need to watch it. And so now I've watched it, and now I can report back to everybody. I don't even remember who said it to me, but I just remember that people said it to me. So now I can say that I've watched it.
Yeah.
But it's
Do you
really,
know that a lot of that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't even remember what I was going to say. What were you saying?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what I was going to say is that a lot of this movie was filmed 30 minutes from your house.
Where was it?
It is. Let me pull it up. I will tell you. Oh, just a second here. Oops,
Because
I
some
thought
of
I had it.
those shots looked familiar.
Yeah. Well, the neighborhood is actually a suburb of St. Paul.
Oh, okay.
Where their houses are. Let me find this here. Where their houses are within 30 minutes. And it's interesting because all of these locations, the perimeter, I'd say the furthest distance from your actual house is an hour and a half.
Okay.
But they're all kind of in the Minneapolis greater area-ish. So the neighborhood was filmed in the area surrounding Lake Phelan, Phelan,
Okay.
which is just an area of St. Paul. That's 28 minutes from Jerry's house per Google Maps.
Thanks for doxing
And
me.
then, what's that?
Thanks for doxing me.
You betcha. And then ice fishing scenes. So everything that was at the lake, those were filmed at Lake Rebecca. which I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that also is about 30 minutes from your house. So
Oh, okay.
there you go.
Interesting.
Those are the two biggest settings. Like there's different settings for that part where they're doing the overlook over the town. That's a different town. The bar is in a different town. So there's like some individual little things, but the majority of the movie, as with the neighborhood and with the ice fishing, we're done 30 minutes from your place. So
Interesting. I actually
yeah.
thought it looked more familiar to something that would be half an hour the other direction. Because I was like, some of that stuff, like there was a shot of a church in the opening kind of introduction where we're getting
Yeah.
all the different shots. And I'm like, that looks like a church in Wyzetta, but it maybe is not. So,
That one is not, and I do remember looking at it. I think that particular set is the same place where they were doing the overlook, or that particular area was the same city area that they did the overlook scene. And that was like an hour and a half away.
gotcha.
Not
Okay.
quite as close. But I wonder if a lot of Minnesota towns kind of have a similar appearance to them in that, it's a lot of Nordic people that settled there. So there may be a lot of similarities. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it was very cozy and it was very nice. Very Minnesota.
Very Minnesota.
Nobody
I
really
agree.
had Minnesota accents. That was like my one maybe little disappointment. But I guess maybe making Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon do Minnesotan accents maybe wouldn't have turned out great.
That might have been a bridge too far.
Yeah. So it's fine. Even though they were like there for their whole lives, they definitely would have had a Minnesota accent. But
Yes, they would. I think the thing I noticed was like, oh, that's real snow.
oh
That's
yeah.
that's not fake snow. You could see there's a difference between what they do on a movie set and what that was. And I, at the time, did not know where they had actually filmed it. I was curious about that because it was a lot of snow. But I was like, oh yeah, that's the real stuff. That's not manufactured for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something that I noticed too, where it was like, I'm trying to think, does Christmas Vacation have real snow? I know it's filmed in Chicago, isn't it?
I don't know where it was filmed. I know that's where.
I know that's where it's
Is
set.
that where it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Is it Chicago? I know Home Alone is Chicago.
Home Alone is Chicago. Christmas Vacation is Chicago. And I know that because one of the guys from Red Letter Media was like, he was going off about like how they never get the Midwest right in movies. And he was like, Christmas Vacation, the opening of that movie, when they're chopping down trees and there's mountains in the background, there's no mountains anywhere in the Midwest.
That is so true.
And that was something I
so
never
true.
even thought about. But I'm like, oh yeah, the
No.
opening of that movie, there's like Rocky Mountains.
I didn't even notice that. I'm gonna have to watch that again because I didn't remember that at all. That's funny. I like that. Yeah, this one, the houses looked very Midwest. I don't know. I just feel like they did a really good job of capturing that, obviously, because it was filmed on location where it's actually set,
Yeah.
which is really great. I think it lent a lot of authenticity to it. It just had that kind of down home feel, or, but not in a way that's mocking so much, I don't feel.
No, I don't think so.
Sometimes you'll watch things. I think about Iowa, and people are like, "Oh, hey, I'm from Iowa, and I'm a farmer." Like this
Sure.
whole thing with the overalls and that. Which there are people in Iowa that are like that, but not everyone in Iowa is like that. And so I feel like anytime you see, maybe some areas where there could be a stereotype assigned to that area, that's what you're going to get when you see it in a movie. I felt like they did a pretty good job of, it wasn't all about like lutefisk and that kind of stuff necessarily, which is kind of what you get sometimes when people are making fun of Minnesota. Everybody's
Sure.
making casseroles and eating lutefisk.
They're called hot dishes, okay?
Hot dishes up there. Down here, casseroles, up there, hot dish.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
a
that's
contentious
good to know.
issue.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
That's funny.
because I think hot dish is like Minnesota's state food.
Oh.
And so I have friends in Wisconsin, and they're like, hot dishes are so dumb. Why is it called that? They should be called casseroles. And I'm like, honestly, let's be honest with ourselves. Both of those names suck. Casserole? That's like the worst mouthfeel of all time. At least hot dish is
gosh.
snappy. But
Oh my
hot
gosh.
dish is very dumb.
I've never heard hot dish.
You've never heard
That's new
that?
to me. No.
There's hot dishes in Minnesota, and then I think Kentucky has the hot brown. Those are like the two hot dishes.
Oh,
Yeah.
hot brown. What's a hot brown?
I think it's
Same
like,
thing?
no,
Is it specific?
I think it is. I think it's like barbecue. It's like something related to barbecue. It's a hot brown. I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know. I'm not from
I
Kentucky.
might have to do a deep dive on that. That's very interesting to me. Is that I mean, I guess I never really think about the different words that you would use depending on where you are for the same things. But I mean, I guess pop, soda.
Coke.
Iowa's a pop state.
I think
Or
Minnesota.
Coke, yeah.
Minnesota is too. I don't
They're
remember.
pop too.
I know Wisconsin is soda,
Okay.
so I don't know where the cutoff is. Maybe we are a
and
soda.
the
state
South
up here.
is Coke.
Yes.
Southeast especially is Coke.
Yeah, it's just like the dirty South is Coke.
Okay. The
Yeah.
dirty South. I have never heard that.
Have you never
phrase
heard
either.
that? Okay, that's like
No.
that's like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. It's like the Panhandle, the dirty South. I think it's because it's swampy.
Interesting. Oh, well, that it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know.
The dirty South.
You're gonna have to do a lot of recollection correction for next time,
That is what I'm doing right now. I'm writing it all down.
because I'm just saying things, and I feel like
I
they're
know.
right.
Well,
but
sometimes it's like, there are things you feel like you know until you're saying it like you know it, and then you're like, oh no, now I'm second guessing myself. But I feel like I know this, but maybe I don't know this.
yeah.
So yes, it's kind of tricky that way. Okay. All right.
Well, now that we've got regional differences out of the way, now we can talk about the film.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So maybe we should start with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, because I'm sure there are some younger people out there that don't know that they were a pretty prolific comedic duo. Would it be in the 60s? 60s, 70s? I'm trying to think, when did
Boy,
the
I
hot
guess
couple come?
66. I think 66 was maybe their first movie together, which was called Fortune Cookie.
Oh, okay.
I did some deep dive on these guys. In fact, I did some deep dive on a lot of this cast because this is an interesting group of people
It is.
that we have in this movie, which is so very enjoyable. Yeah, I think their first movie together was Fortune Cookie, and I think that was 1966.
Okay. I think most
So,
people
yes.
would associate them with The Odd Couple. That was like their big hit, I would assume. I know, did they do it on Broadway and then they did the same roles on screen?
That's a good question. I did not look that up, but
I know,
that would be a great guess.
I think, don't they have wives in that movie? Or, I know there's
No,
like,
I think they're both single guys.
there's like,
They're roommates.
are they like going after two women or something? I know there's like a group of two women that are also in that movie, and they're reprising their roles from the Broadway. So I didn't know if Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau were also kind of grandfathered in.
I don't know. I have seen clips of the TV series, which had Jack Klugman and Tony Randall playing those two roles. And that was a very popular TV series as well. I've never seen the movie, so I have zero idea. I mean, that I would like to, but I haven't seen it. I just know about it because, people, it is one of those things that I feel like when I was younger, it was talked about, especially because the TV show.
Oh, sure.
So, but I thought they were both single guys, and one guy is super messy and one guy is super tidy.
Yes, that is correct.
And Matthau was messy and Lemmon was tidy.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of their vibe.
That's
in
all
general.
I know. Yes. Well, even like their facial features and stuff. Walter Matthau is very hound doggy. He's got
Yes.
some jowls. He's got a really expressive face. I love his face. And Jack Lemmon just is kind of pretty.
Yes.
I think he's kind of pretty. Well, and like he was in Some Like It Hot. He made a very beautiful woman. Like he's a very pretty person.
Sure.
Not that Walter Matthau is unattractive, but he just has more character in his face, and his face is very moldable, and so his expressions when he's acting are really focused in his face, which I very much enjoy.
Walter Matthau looks like he would fit right in with the Wallace and Gromit universe.
Yes.
Or some like claymation
Or
thing.
like the guy in The Incredibles.
Oh, is the boss?
Yeah, he looks kind of like him.
He does kind of look like his boss. I don't know his name.
I can't remember that guy's name. Dave. Was it Dave?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
It's a guy from The Princess
Yes.
Bride.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Did
Which
you not
one?
know that? Inconceivable.
Oh, Wallace Shawn. Okay.
You didn't know that was the same guy?
Maybe I did, and it's been a while. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe I did at one time. But aren't you impressed that I knew his name when you said inconceivable? And I was like, oh, Wallace Shawn. Look at me.
I am impressed. I don't know that guy's name. I just know him from those two movies.
Yeah, he was in The Cosby Show, too. He played one of the neighbors or one of Bill's friends. He came on every once in a while.
Oh,
and
okay.
it was always so weird to me because I was like, oh, dude, that's the dude from Princess Bride. It's weird to see him in normal clothes.
Right. I feel like he does a lot of voice acting. I feel like I've seen him in things.
He's got a really interesting voice for sure.
But he's not in this movie, unfortunately.
No.
That would have made it perfect. But you said you did some deep dives on some of these actors. What'd you find?
Yeah, let's do some. So I'm just going to say the cast really quick here. We have Anne Margaret and Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau played Max, and both of them were in Elvis movies. In fact, Elvis movies that you've already seen. So I know you know this already, but
Yes.
Anne Margaret was in Viva Las Vegas.
I've not seen that one.
You have not?
But I know that she's in it.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you had seen that one. Maybe we've just talked about it. And then King Creole with Walter Matthau. So,
Yeah, plays the bad guy.
which is weird to me.
He plays like a mob boss.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, he's sometimes, well, I guess the other movie that I really know him from is The Dennis the Menace, where he's a curmudgeon. And he's very curmudgeonly in this one, too. He has a good face for a curmudgeon.
He does. He does.
Yeah. It's those jowls. We have Jack Lemmon, who's playing John. So the basic premise of this movie is that John and Max were best friends growing up. They lived next door to each other, longtime friends. And we find out a little ways into the movie that they were both in love with the same woman. And she ended up marrying Jack Lemmon. And Walter Matthau married someone else. So that caused a rift in their friendship. And so they've basically been sworn enemies since then.
Yeah.
And a lot of life has happened in the meantime. Their children are grown and out of the house. And it sounds like the woman that they fought over was not a very good woman. And I think she ended up leaving Jack Lemmon. And that actually the woman that married Walter Matthau was a peach. And Jack Lemmon says that, like, you got the better deal.
Yeah.
The woman you were with was much better than the one that they had been fighting over, but they just could not heal that rift. So they've spent all these years living next door to each other and hating each other's guts. And then a new woman moves into the neighborhood, which is our beautiful Anne Margaret, who looks really stinking good in this movie.
Yeah.
And here they are again, both smitten with the same woman and what's going to happen here. And then you have some peripheral characters. We have the dad of Jack Lemmon, who is just named Grandpa Gustafson. And that is Burgess Meredith, who plays Mickey in the Rocky movies. And he is hilarious in this.
He's great.
I loved him. Great. We have Chuck, who owns the bait shop. And
Love
he's a
that
friend
guy.
of both of theirs. That's Ossie Davis. I have some really interesting information about him when I get to him. Ooh. And then we have Christopher McDonald playing Mike. Did you recognize him?
Who's Mike? Which one's Mike?
Mike is Daryl Hannah's husband.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I
It's
did.
our friend from Breakin'.
Yes, that's where I knew him from. I'm like, that guy looks so familiar. I couldn't place it. Yeah, he's
Yes,
the lawyer in Breakin', or
that's
the
right.
agent.
The agent. Yeah, he shows up all the time. He's one of those guys that he just pops up in random things. So anyway, he was in there and still playing a kind of a creep, which feels like his general what he does.
Yeah.
And then Daryl Hannah's playing Daryl Hannah's. I'm going to have to hook in my other headphones.
Oh no.
Mine are going dead. I thought I
Oh.
could like charge them while I was talking on them, but I can't. So I am
Oh.
going to plug in here. Give me just a second. I'll just keep talking because that won't make any difference to you.
Sure.
So we have Daryl Hannah, who plays Jack Lemmon's daughter. And we have, oh no, I can't remember the guy's first name. Pollock is the last name. Sydney, maybe?
Yeah, that
Can't
sounds
remember his first
Sidney
name.
Pollock. That
Is it
sounds like
Sydney?
a name I've heard.
Yes, and I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I did not end up deep diving either Daryl Hannah or him, but you do see him a lot. He does show up in a lot of different things. So
Sure.
anyway, that's our basic cast. So I told you about Walter Matthau and Anne Margaret. So Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon made 10 films together.
Oh.
And this is their 6th. Okay, I'm going to try to put my glasses on with these headphones. It's not going to go well. We're going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay. So they've made 10 films together. Their big ones was the one from 1966, which is Fortune Cookie. They did The Odd Couple, of course. That was their other big one. And then Grumpy Old Men, which was, they doubled their budget on this one in earnings. So
Oh, good.
this was a very successful movie. Came out at the end of 1993. Let's see, did I take any notes about? No, because I was so busy taking notes on the people because they're so interesting. Okay, let me give you just a couple other things here while we're chitty-chatting.
Okay.
The director is Donald Petrie, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah.
He did movies like Mystic Pizza, Miss Congeniality, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So heartwarming, fun, kind of lighthearted, generally movies that are that make you feel good about the world, I think.
Yeah.
I like that vibe. That's kind of my favorite. The music I wanted to point out specifically because it was composed by Alan Silvestri. And I am a Alan Silvestri fan. I love this guy.
Oh.
John Williams and Alan Silvestri, they are amazing. So what I know Alan Silvestri from is Forrest Gump. He did wrote the music for Forrest Gump, which your dad and I walked down the aisle at our wedding to the theme from Forrest Gump. Like, we loved that movie. We loved that music. So that was
good music.
actually played at our wedding. But he also composed music for a lot of the Avengers movies, Iron Man, some of those. He did Lilo and Stitch,
Oh.
Night at the Museum, The Mummy, Polar Express, Father of the Bride, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, all of the Back to the Futures, Romancing the
snap.
Stone. He is prolific.
I did not realize that.
Yes, he is very much like a John Williams sort of situation, and he can write, adventurous sort of music, just kind of like John Williams on that too. You think about the score from The Mummy and Night at the Museum. You're going to have some scenes that are, there's just that sound that just like riles you up. And even Forrest Gump, I think there's like those songs that are really tender, and those songs that are, he's in Vietnam and it's, kind of suspenseful. Anyway, I love him. So when I saw he composed the music, I tried to pay really close attention because I love his work. I think he's wonderful. So that's fun. After they filmed this movie, Walter Matthau was hospitalized with double pneumonia because he was so cold. It was so cold. Which I believe it because, man, Minnesota is no joke when we're talking about winter. When there's that kind of snow, it's also super, super cold outside.
Yes, especially on the ice.
Yes, especially on the ice. Like, just soaks right through your shoes and up into your body.
Yeah, and they have those little like shanties I've seen those and I'm like, that is so funny that they like,
Yes.
have these little cabins out there.
Yes. Until I'd seen this movie, I did not realize that they did that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're boring holes in the I never understood ice fishing really. We
Mm,
don't come from a fishing family, so I
no.
had never really understood what that was all about, but it was so fun to watch that in this movie and be like, "Oh gosh, they're augering the
Yeah.
ice to get their fishing poles, get their stuff down in the water." And, it's like this little cabin,
Yeah.
super cute. And they just hang out for the day. I don't know. It was
It's
so
really
fun.
funny. That was like really fun to see because like especially like this last winter where it was like so cold, the
Uh,
ice stuck around forever and people
yes.
were out there like every day. There were like signs on the street that were like, we build shanties, or like, we will make your little pond that's by your house ice fishing ready. I'm like, this is so
Oh,
funny. This is like an industry here where it's like,
yeah.
like, that's so
Yeah,
fun.
it is really I don't know. It is its own thing, and it is a culture. It
Yeah.
feels like there's this culture surrounding it, and I don't know if it's as much like that now as it was here where, people weren't on phones and times
Yeah.
were simpler, 93. Um, but it was fun to see this community of guys who are all just like hanging out on the lake every day.
Mm-hmm.
They hit the bait shop on their way in, and grandpa's already out there, so we're gonna go get grandpa. And
It's
I don't
all
know.
like old retired people too. That's
Yeah.
even Chuck, the
Yeah.
guy who owns the fishing store, is old.
Yes. I love Chuck.
Oh, he's the
Yeah,
best.
I know. I don't know. I just thought that was so fun. So the role of grandpa, you're gonna love this. This is gonna be another tie back to a previous movie.
All right.
The role of grandpa was originally offered to George Burns,
Oh, that
our
would have
old
been
friend
nice.
George. I know, but he turned it down because of the weather.
Fair.
And he was 97 years old at the time.
That is also fair.
Yeah. Now, what's his name?
S-
Burgess Meredith. I think he
Yeah.
was 87 maybe when they,
Okay.
for some reason, I'm thinking he was
He
87.
really did not look 87. That's kind of crazy. They
I
said that
mean,
like he was 94 or something in the movie, and I'm like, well, no. He has to be like
yeah,
upper 70s. Like he looked good.
I'm second guessing myself. Hold on a minute. I think I'm getting him messed up with something else. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, he looked old and rocky, and this
Hmm.
was, way after that. Okay, so in
Oh,
1997 he was 89.
that's
So
nice.
in 93 he would have been, oh, okay, so mid 80s,
Yeah.
85, 86, something like that.
When they were
Let's see,
shooting
seven.
it, he was probably like 84, 83.
Yeah, he died in 1997
Hmm.
at the age of 89 from complications of Alzheimer's and melanoma.
Ah, that's too bad.
So yeah, he was a character. Man, he's so
Yeah.
funny.
He's great in this
I
movie.
really I love him.
That was like my favorite thing, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit
Yeah.
with the blooper reel at
Oh,
the end, which I know me and you feel the exact same way about this. We need to bring that back. That
I
is
love
like
blooper reels.
they're like the best part of every movie that has them. Every time they start, I'm like, yes, I'm actually going to
Yeah.
watch all the credits and it's going to be a blast. And he was like the star of it. I loved
So
when,
funny.
when you could tell they just like let him go off. There was like, I got a
Yep.
bunch of these. I can
I know,
come
I
up.
couldn't believe how many.
I can come up with so many innuendos for 6. Let me just rattle them off. And I love like
know.
watching Jack Lemmon trying to like contain himself. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, it's so
He
funny.
did a good job of containing himself because I was like, some of those I was like, oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I loved it. There was the baloney pony. That one made me
The
laugh.
old baloney pony.
Yes, I was like, oh, that's funny. It rhymes. I enjoy this. I remember seeing, so I think we went and saw this at the theater, and man, people were rolling. You'd think it would be, because they interspersed it throughout. It was like the first couple, you're like, well, surely this is it. And then they just kept coming. And it was like, this guy has a million of these. And his delivery was so great.
It
Oh, it was
was.
so good. It was so good. I loved that.
Oh, Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that was like really great, and all the other bloopers were great too. I love the one where Walter Matthau and Jack Walter Matthau's like always forgetting his lines. Maybe it's because he's
Yes.
so cold.
Yeah, probably. It's affected his brain.
Yeah, but I think they're out on the ice, and I think does he flub a line or no? I think Jack Lemmon flubs a line, and he just like starts speaking like mumbling, and then Walter
Yes.
Matthau just follows him, and then they like do that for a couple more sentences. I'm like
Yes.
that's these guys' chemistry is so good that they know how to play off of each other,
Yes.
like nobody's business. It's so good.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they're sitting there talking mumbo jumbo,
Yeah,
but their inflection and then
yeah,
the response is like appropriate to the
yeah.
inflection. I mean, I love. Yeah, I thought that was a really, really good blooper. That was my other favorite too. Was that one? It was just very. Oh, and I liked the one where they're driving off in the limo, and you see the
Oh,
arm come out to drop the fish, and then Jack Lemmon comes over and taps him on his shoulder. He turns around. He's like, "What the?"
who just drove off?
I just thought that was so funny. You could tell he was so surprised. Yeah, I liked that a lot.
You could just tell that the set was just a blast. And you got like so many talented people together,
Yeah.
all just like trying to make each other laugh. It's like
Yes.
that's like I love it, but it also kind of makes me sad. I'm like, this doesn't happen anymore. Nobody makes comedies unless it's a superhero movie.
Yeah, like I think of like who are our duos of the day. You have The Rock and Kevin Hart. They do
Sure.
a lot of stuff together, and Jack Black.
Yeah.
But a lot of those movies now, and you and I have talked about this, a lot of those movies are family movies now. They're not really straight up comedies, and certainly not a rated R comedy or a PG-13 comedy. And we had a string there where we had a lot of raunchy comedy.
Yeah.
With Judd Apatow doing, 40-Year-Old Virgin and The Hangover. There was, a bunch of
Bridesmaids.
things like that happening. But like a straight up comedy that's just a little bit raunchy, but not like terrible.
No.
And it wasn't really raunchy until you got, well, unless Burgess Meredith was on the screen. Because he was the one that was always doing the innuendo throughout the thing. But I always loved, I love that the movie opens and it's like, moron putz. Like it starts with the name calling and it just continues on. And it's so simple. It's just like one word. They aren't coming up with creative sort of insults. It's just this is the way we greet each other. And I like that we catch a glimpse of like we're seeing this picture of them together. We see that they know each other's children and care about each other's children.
Yeah.
We don't know the full story. We don't know why they hate each other. I like that. I like that we're slowly piecing together what happened with these guys. Why, what happened that they had this falling out? They've been friends for so long, I don't know. There's just something about that. There's something about this movie that just is delightful.
That was my review on Letterboxd.
Oh, was it?
I just wrote
Oh.
a delight.
Yeah, it really is. Like, and it's not like it's all lovey-dovey necessarily, because they are. But the scene that got me, I feel like I'm jumping all over the place.
That's fine.
I've seen this movie so many times because I love it so much. Like when your dad and I were first married, if nothing was on TV back in the old days, we'd be like, we had this on DVD. I was like, let's just watch Grumpy Old Men. It just feels good. And, there's great relationships and there's growth in the characters and great backstory that you're slowly uncovering. And it doesn't delve too much into things it doesn't need to delve into. I'm thinking specifically of the Daryl Hannah storyline. You can see that, Walter Matthau's son has loved her forever, and they do talk about it, but we don't know what's happening in her marriage that it's falling apart. We aren't delving into that part. We're just seeing, well, okay, now he's not around anymore. He was around and then he's not around, but we're not going to go into the depths of that. That's not the center of the story, but it's still a beautiful part of the story, this connection that has happened despite this feud that, has been going on for decades,
Yeah.
and the fact that this is the scene that I was going to say. Okay. When Jack falls, I mean, this is obviously like the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
When Jack has that heart attack and it happens to be that Walter finds him. And at first he thinks he's messing with him. And then like seeing just the panic and then seeing him like pounding on that neighbor's door. But when he goes to the hospital and the nurse is like, I'm going to get emotional right now. It's Mother's Day. Are you family or a friend? And he like had to stop and think about that for a minute. And when he said that he's a friend, it was like, it broke my heart. His face when he delivered that line with a crack in his voice was just such a, like so much was happening in his face at that moment. And you could see him like really thinking about that. Like, is he my friend? I mean, I don't know. I just loved that so much. I thought that like that moment, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
It really touched me. I thought it was really lovely.
That was like really good because he's like realizing that as he's saying it. And it does kind of like recontextualize the movie a whole lot because it isn't like these guys are doing pranks that are going to like ruin each other's lives. They're not like pouring sugar in each other's gas tank and doing like identity fraud. They're not doing these like huge, like adult, like ways to get back at someone. They're throwing fishes in each other's cars and spraying the roof with a hose so that the ice dam falls down and they just get covered in snow. It's like these childish little things.
Yes.
And also they don't call each other like terrible moron and putz are like playground insults. Like they really are just big children.
Yes.
And like, you know, oftentimes like friends on the playground will do that when you're kids. And so it's funny to like have that realization where he's like, I hate this guy. I'm an adult. I know what I'm doing, but it's like, he's my friend. Like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too, you think about the beginning of the movie where the IRS guy is at Jack Lemmon's house.
Yeah.
And so they're both talking to him out front and Walter Matthau covers for him.
He does.
Like he insults him while he's doing it, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But he could have been like, this is the dude you're looking for. Like if he really hated him, that's what he would have done. But he obviously still cares. There's a part of him that still cares about him because he covered for him.
Yeah.
And continues to do so. You know, I don't know. It just warms me.
It's
This
really
cold,
sweet.
cold movie warms my heart. I don't know.
It is a cold movie.
Yeah, it's so cold.
Yeah. I like seeing them wear all their huge coats and everything. Like, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just loved that so much. I want to talk a little bit about Ossie Davis, if you're cool with that. He
Let's
is
do
Chuck.
it. I love that
Chuck is
guy.
so fascinating. He is my biggest deep dive.
All right.
You're going to love this. You are going to love this. Oh, but what I forgot to say about George Burns. Okay, so he turned it down because of the weather and because he was 97. He worked with Walter Matthau on the Sunshine Boys. They did a movie together.
Oh.
I'd never even heard of it before. And George Burns actually won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for that movie. He was 80 at the time he won that Best Supporting Actor Oscar. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, he's great. Okay, so Ossie Davis. Let's talk about Ossie. Ossie Davis was in 6 Spike Lee films. Here we go. You're going to love this.
Yes, he was. I know
Yeah.
one of them.
You sure do. I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, Jerry knows this for sure. So he was, the first movie he was in with Spike Lee was School Days. But he was in Do the Right Thing, which is the one you probably knew.
Yep, he plays, his uncle?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, he plays the local drunk.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. I love that.
He's this local drunk, and he has this like love-hate relationship with like she's like this like spiritual grandma of the neighborhood, and they're like kind of flirting, but she's like, "Get off the stoop, old man! Like, get out of here!" But he's like, "How do you do?" And he's like just always a gentleman.
Oh,
Yeah, he's great in that movie.
Did you recognize him when you saw him come up on Grumpy
yeah.
Old Men? Or
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay, I didn't know if the role was big enough that you would have recognized him.
No, he looks just like he did in Do the Right Thing.
Okay, it would be around the same time too, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, he was in Malcolm X. He
Oh.
was in Jungle Fever. Get on the Bus, which these last two I've never heard of. Get on the Bus and She Hate Me. Have you heard of either of those two?
No.
No, I hadn't either. But those were the 6 Spike Lee films he was in. So he was married to Ruby Dee, and I believe Ruby Dee was a singer. But they both were very well known as civil rights activists during the civil rights movement,
Oh,
and were really close friends of Malcolm X, Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King Jr.,
wow.
Harry Belafonte, like all of these people we've talked about before. Yeah, interesting. They were involved in the organizing of the 1963 Civil Rights March on Washington.
Wow.
And they served as MCs at that event.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I know, isn't it?
That's cool that he's in Malcolm X then. If he knew the
You're
guy.
going to love this. This is going to take you to the next level.
Okay.
You're just going to love this. Ossie Davis did Malcolm X's eulogy in real life. And he wrote his own eulogy for Malcolm X at Malcolm X's funeral. In the final moments of Malcolm X, the movie, Spike Lee tapped him to read the eulogy that he read at Malcolm X's funeral 27 years earlier.
Wow.
I know.
That's awesome.
Isn't it? I just thought that was the coolest.
Spike Lee's so dang good at this.
Yeah, it was so good. So yeah, that part kind of blew my mind a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
so what I really knew Ossie Davis from, besides this movie, was the TV show Evening Shade with Burt Reynolds.
Oh.
He was in that, along with the guy that played, Elmo's World, Mr. Noodle. Okay, there's the guy that played Mr. Noodle, and he was also in The Green
He
Mile.
was. Yeah, that's what I know him from.
Yeah, okay. So he was in Evening Shade,
Okay.
along with Ossie Davis and Burt Reynolds. Those were kind of the 3 they were buddies on that show. So anyway, that's kind of what I knew him from. I didn't remember seeing him in Malcolm X, but I thought that was a really interesting little nod. And the fact that he'd already been working with him for 2 or 3 movies before he even did Malcolm X. So it's not like Spike Lee just brought him in for that particular movie. He had already had a relationship with him, a working relationship with him. And so, the fact that he was doing Malcolm X and could just reach out to somebody he's been working with, I think that's so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So he died in 2005. We're still talking about Ossie Davis. Died in 2005 at 87 years old. I think that's where the 87 came from earlier.
Could be.
The line to enter, I'm going to quote, this is a quote from the Wikipedia. I'm going to do a little bit of Wikipedia here for you, and I'm going to quote it. The line to enter the Riverside Church, which was located on the edge of Harlem, stretched for several blocks, with 1,000 more members of the public unable to attend as the church filled to its 2,100 person capacity.
Wow.
So thousands of people showed up for his funeral. And speakers at his funeral included his children, his grandchildren, and Alan Alda, Burt Reynolds, Angela Bassett, Spike Lee, Atala Shabazz, which is Malcolm X's daughter, Maya Angelou, Harry Belafonte, and other people.
Holy
and Bill
cow.
Clinton.
I
Bill
didn't-
Clinton was there.
I didn't realize he was that prolific.
I had no idea.
No.
I mean, this was all, once I started, I was like, I can't stop. This is so interesting to me. How have I never known this information before?
Yeah.
Fascinating. So super beloved. Okay, so I'm going to do a quote from the eulogy that was given at his funeral by Harry Belafonte. So this is Ossie's funeral. Harry Belafonte said this, quote, "At the time of one of our most anxious and conflicted moments, when our America was torn apart by seething issues of race, Ossie paused at the tomb of one of our noblest warriors, and in the eulogy he delivered, ensured that history would clearly understand the voice of Black people and what Malcolm X meant to us. In the African American struggle for freedom. It is hard to fathom that we will no longer be able to call on his wisdom, his humor, his loyalty, and his moral strength to guide us in the choices that are yet to be made and the battles that are yet to be fought. But how fortunate we were to have him as long as we did."
Wow.
Isn't that just,
That's really nice.
so good? It gives me goosebumps.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, who knew? It's it really blew me away when I couldn't stop. I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning last night because I just couldn't stop looking into this. I was so fascinated by him
Yeah,
and the things I was finding out about him. I don't know.
that's really
It's so
cool.
unexpected. Yeah.
I didn't real. That's so cool. I don't even know if I have anything else to say.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
in the
amazing.
meantime, he owned a little bait and tackle shop
That's
in St.
right.
Paul.
That's right. Played this little role. Yeah, amongst all the Spike Lee movies, like here he is in this goofy comedy, heartfelt comedy, and he dies in it. That made me sad. I was sad that Chuck was gone.
But he is really good in it. Like
He
he has
is.
like one of my favorite lines is when he goes over to I don't remember a character's name. I know Anne Margaret. He goes
Yeah.
over to
Ariel.
Ariel. He goes over to
Yeah.
Ariel's house and they Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon both see him and then they go interrogate him and he's like, she reminded me what it's like to feel alive. And I'm like, oh wow, he's so good. He had this like genuine joy in his face.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yes.
This is so nice. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's nice too. We were kind of talking about this. I don't remember if it was with Paris. It's kind of with Paris, Texas. But like Ariel's kind of a Paddington figure in this movie, and that she's just like this ray of positivity. And most of that is because dudes want to get in her pants. But also like she is just like really like she tries to connect with everybody, even if her methods may be unorthodox or illegal, like stealing
Yes.
mail, which
That was so funny.
which kind of gave me the like, oh, you really can't do that,
Yeah. Mr. Postman.
Mr. Postman. I'm like, you can't do. Yeah, that's not.
I thought you would enjoy that.
But she
Yeah,
really is.
she was great. And she brought so much life to that community. I think that was the thing that, like, not just because she was a beautiful woman, she was a woman that was like grabbing hold of life with both hands
Yeah,
and like, just take me where you want to go. I am here for the ride. To have an older character who's like hanging out in a sauna and then rolling in the snow and just like, hey, everybody, just yelling at them and from across the street, riding her snowmobile, putting people on the back of it in the middle of the night. Like she's sculpting giant statues of naked people.
of her
She
husband.
just, yeah, yes. I mean, she was such a character in this movie. And so yes, she was a beautiful woman, and yes, all these guys made jokes about the fact that they hadn't had sex in decades.
Yeah,
But she brought life to them and connected all of those people, forced them to be like, we're not doing this. Not like she never came out and said, we're not doing this, but like there were so many ways where she was um, trying to foster some sort of reconciliation between them, and that she was trying to be friends with Walter, but she really cared for John and um, what was Walter?
Right.
Max and John. Yeah, like I thought her performance was just very refreshing and very light and fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it so much, and she looked amazing. Like
yeah.
she's wearing that leotard rolling in the snow. I'm like, look at you, Anne Margaret. You look phenomenal.
Is
And
she
she's
in her
in that.
50s?
Oh, she had to have been older than that. I'm gonna look
Really?
that up. Yeah, yeah. Oh, she had. Yes, she has to be older than that. I mean, she just looked
I
so
think.
good.
Well, yeah. I guess Viva Las Vegas came out late 50s. This came out early 90s. Like 35 years, something like that. So yeah, she would have been
She was born in 1941. Oh, so maybe she wasn't as old. No,
92,
93. Yeah. She would have been in her 50s.
52.
Oh, no. That's my age. I don't look as good as she does. She has access to a lot more plastic surgery, et cetera, than I do.
Exactly. Yeah.
But she just, I just really enjoyed her. So I remember at the time this movie came out, my mom always thought Anne Margaret was really annoying. I do remember that. I remember her
Oh,
specifically saying that from her movies when she was younger. And so I think when mom saw Aunt Margaret, she was like, ugh, yuck.
Oh,
And so I had some of that in my mind, I think, when I went to watch it, because it was like, well, but why doesn't she like her? Now watching it, I'm like, oh, she is just a delight. I enjoyed her a lot.
yeah,
I think she might have played ditzy, maybe. Was she maybe in some of her movies back in the 60s, she might have been playing kind of a
I could see that.
dingbat sort of
Yeah.
character. But in this particular case, she was full of joy and she was silly and she had a lust for life, but she wasn't stupid.
No, no,
And she could
she's a
be
professor.
serious. Yeah, I mean, she could be serious too in her relations with people, like,
Hmm.
forcing difficult conversations and being willing to be vulnerable with John. John's ghosting her. She's like, "What the heck? Where are you?
Yeah,
What's going on?" And she, oh, she's so
she
cute.
just woke up.
Edna's been sleeping. Edna's awake. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed that character a lot. And
Yeah,
I just didn't remember enjoying that character as much, but maybe I identify with her more now. Now that I'm
could be.
older.
It could
I
be,
don't
but also
know.
when you saw it when you were younger, you were probably thinking about like what your mom's
Yeah.
attitude, and that probably had more sway on you when you were younger than now, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just life experience too, like when you're a young person watching a movie about old people, um, you feel it's not anything that you can relate to aspects of it, but you can't relate to all of it. And
Sure.
I'm looking at it now going, wow, like how amazing is it to be 52 and still have that kind of lust for life? That's a rare thing to
Yeah.
see someone who's truly just trying to live life to the fullest and just had a real positivity about her that was really great.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really liked her character. And yeah, I mean, my heart broke for Max because I was like, gosh, he already got that happened once already. Like, why couldn't it have been the opposite way,
Mm.
where she was in love with Max, and so then John had to experience what that's like to pine for someone from afar.
Well, that's what he
It felt like
said.
an insult, yeah, an insult to injury to watch
Yeah.
that happen a second time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I like it was that scene where like he throws the his shanty into the ice, and then they
Yeah,
have that fight. It's
yeah,
like really heartbreaking
yeah,
because like man, that's why he's so angry.
yeah,
He's like, you did it again.
yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, and it's not like I mean, John knew that he was interested in Ariel. Um, but like you just never know who she's going to be interested in because she
Well,
loves
yeah.
everybody and
Well,
she's dating Aussie and she's, you know,
she was like flirting with the
um
pharmacist
yeah, she's just like, oh, I don't know.
while the pharmacist's wife is right there.
Yes. 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 She is something. I don't know. I my heart really broke for him for that to happen again. And
Yeah,
we know, and I've learned, so I was a psychology major, so I do have an interest in this kind of stuff.
sure.
Like when you have an experience that you've had in previous. So say, growing up, your brother always poked your shoulder and it made you crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, stop poking my shoulder. And my whole childhood, and this is just an example, and I don't think he ever poked my shoulder, but I'm using it as an example.
Okay.
Poke shoulder, and you have just had it. I've had enough with the poking of the shoulder. And you grow older, he stops poking your shoulder, and then you go to work and someone pokes you on the shoulder, and immediately you're like, oh, don't poke my shoulder. And it's so out of context, but it's the same experience. You immediately go to that emotion. You
Hmm.
don't, it doesn't have to build up again. It's the first time. And it's like, I still feel this from childhood.
Yeah.
And so you think about that with Walter. Like, it's not like this is a serious relationship we're talking about here. This very at the very early stages, but he's furious because we've been through this before and you're doing it again. And I'm right back where I was all those years ago, taking him to that really tough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Anyway.
it's sad on almost two levels because John didn't do anything.
Right.
Like he I guess well, I'm trying to think because it's been a couple days since I've seen it. but I don't think he's the one who like asked her out. Like, Walter's like, hey, do you want to go get dinner tonight after they had that day of fun?
Yeah.
She's like, I already have plans, because she was planning on breaking
That's
into
right.
that guy, into John's house and cooking something.
Yeah. Yes,
So it
she very
wasn't
much
even
was
his
the
fault.
instigator. Right.
No. So
Yeah.
it's like this big misunderstanding where it's like Max thinks that John did it, but John is like, I'm just an innocent guy. Why are you throwing my shanty into the ice?
Yeah. Yes. And too, like that conversation that they were having, which I briefly mentioned earlier, where they're talking about, like, John's like, she was no picnic. She was not.
Mm-hmm.
You had a happy marriage. Like, I might have gotten the girl, but it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And you ended up with Amy, and I think Amy was her name. I can't remember.
I think, yeah.
And she was a wonderful woman. Like, he's like, but it wasn't about that. It wasn't about what ended up happening. It was that initial moment where it was like, but you betrayed me. You took the person that I cared about, you took her.
Yeah.
And you just hold that, even though all, things went sideways in their marriage. That doesn't matter. It's that initial betrayal that they just couldn't get past.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Even that's like the start of a joke, because he's like, so what? And then he said, so what? So what? What? So what?
Oh, gosh. I love those guys.
They're great. They're
Oh,
great.
gosh. I just love it. And I like, too, that we get tastes of, you've got those guys fighting on that level, and then you bring their children in,
Yeah.
and it is, Max is trying to tell his son, give him advice, and, they're all dancing around the issue, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I love
I
too
don't
that
know.
they're so supportive of each other's kids. Like
They
these
are.
these two hate each other, but
Uh-huh.
like even in the midst of their fighting, he's like, "Hey, my son's gonna run for mayor. I'd be proud to vote for him." It's like they hate each other, but they're like, "No, I love your kid, and I think he'd be good for this town."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, I mean, and they, didn't they talk to each other's kids? I feel like they did.
Yeah.
Like, they were interacting. And it's funny, too, because, like, the kids know
Mm-hmm.
that their dads aren't talking to each other.
Yeah.
But somehow they have built relationships with these men.
It's so funny.
Oh,
Because I think,
don't
yeah,
know.
because John is doing that thing. He's spraying the hose, and Max's son comes in, and he's like, "Hey, by the way, Daryl Hannah's gonna be over tonight. You should maybe come by. She just recently got out of." Like, this is so funny. These two hate each other, but they're like, "We need to be like related by marriage. This is
Yes. We need our kids to get
we
together.
need our kids to get together so we can see each other more."
I know. Yeah. I don't know. I just, I know on the surface, this movie is like two grumpy. I mean, it's grumpy old men. There's a reason that's the name of the movie. But when you really, and it is funny. Like, I find it very funny. Their timing is so good. Like you said, their chemistry is so good when they're insulting each other. It's like the best. But there is so much that's happening outside of like we're gonna prank each other and
Yeah.
call names. Like, there's some real depth to it, but it never feels overly sad. Like, there are touching moments, there are moments that really get you in the heart, but they never leave you there very long. But you still feel the impact of it, even
Oh, yeah.
though even though we know levity is coming, which is what you need when you have those sad moments.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a good sign of a good comedy. Is it isn't just goof. It isn't just dumb stuff. Like, this isn't a Dumb and Dumber movie or something like that. Like, I feel like other comedies of the 90s were so marked by that like buffoon character, and there's like no character depth or anything. It's just stupid slapstick nothingness. But this
Yeah.
is like, and I'm not even like, oh, ho, ho, ho. Like, this is really high art, whatever.
Right.
But it is like, this is like a really good way to have you care about these characters. And so like the laughs mean more. I think that's why like I've never really gravitated towards any of those movies is because I don't care about any of these characters. So who cares if they slip on a banana peel and crack their skull open? It's like whatever. They're an idiot. They probably did it to themselves, and I have no reason to care about them. But here it's like I love these guys. They're really fun. Yes, they hurl insults at each other, but like when we see them isolated, we see that they are pretty good people. And like they care about the people around them, like they care about their families and everything. Like they're not deadbeat dads. Like they're like actively involved in their kids' lives and are like rooting for them all along the way. So like in the end, when they do like reconcile and become like more friends than enemies, even though they do still pull pranks on each other, it feels that much more rewarding because it's like, man, these two guys have been through so much. We've learned so much about these guys and their past. And here we are at this like great payoff where they're getting married and Max is the best man. And it's like, that is so sweet. I love that.
I know. I love it too. And I think too that oh no, I lost it. This is your grumpy old woman. I lost my thought. Dang it.
We were talking about the wedding, best man. I love that. They're well-rounded characters. Nothing. Oh, shoot.
Give me a minute. It'll come back. It'll come back. I have no. Oh, I don't know. I can't. Oh, shoot. That just is killing me that I can't remember what it was because I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. Nope. I lost it.
That's okay.
Sorry. But yeah, I really liked it. So it was a big hit. I think I said that. This was a very popular movie at the theater. They did end up making a sequel called Grumpier Old Men.
Sure.
And that movie adds Sophia Loren to the mix.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I know. And this is the only movie I've ever seen Sophia Loren in. I know that she was, a big star at the time, but I've never seen a Sophia Loren movie. So the only thing I knew her from was Grumpier Old Men. She was a beautiful older woman, so I can't imagine how. I mean, I've seen pictures of her. She was stunning as a young woman, but so she comes in on the second movie. And I don't remember that one as well. This is the one that I watched on repeat that I just loved.
Sure.
But I remember the second one being good. But
well, I mean, Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon come back, don't they?
They do, yeah. And so does Anne Margaret. And it's the same cast. Burgess Meredith is in it. He's still kicking.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say now.
Yes.
I knew it would come back to me. Like you were talking about that they cared so much about, and they were so in touch with each other's families and stuff. They also cared so much about their community. And I really liked the seeing like, oh, did you hear so-and-so this happened? Or like they're all like all these old guys talking about, what's happened to who, they're all old. Yeah. Sitting on the ice and touching base with each other. And, they weren't hermits. They weren't staying home, growing old and bitter. They were continuing to nurture relationships and care about their community and would periodically, talk to each other between the insults for very brief periods of time. So there was never this feeling like they really hate each other.
No.
And so I feel like that it allowed us to see like they were still connecting on many levels. Even though they were really, estranged from each other. Yeah. They would still update each other on what was happening in town, even though they couldn't stand each other, but they definitely weren't friends, Right. I don't know. And that picture of the two of them when they were kids is it just seared in my mind. I think they show that a couple times where you look at that picture and it's like, oh, those two boys,
Well, and it really says something that he still has that picture up. Through everything. Like, it's with, right next to a picture of his son who died in Vietnam. Like, that relationship clearly means a lot to John, even though he does all sorts of fun little pranks.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. You'd get those little moments of sad things like that,
Yeah.
talking about the loss of a child or, the death of a marriage,
Yeah.
their friend dying. There's a lot of things in there that were, John having that heart attack and stuff and like not knowing is he gonna be okay? Like, and to
Yeah.
find him, I don't know. That scene, I don't know. That whole time is like
It's so
just
good.
really moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I loved that movie.
I did too.
I gave it 4 stars, but I might even give it more now that we've talked about it because I enjoyed it so much. Not because it's like high art, but because like what it does to my heart and my emotions and the feeling that I have when that movie is over is like my favorite feeling when I've finished watching a movie. It's my favorite.
I'm right there
And
with
to have a few laughs along the way and to also feel feelings like
Absolutely.
I'm going 4.5. I'm going to bump it up a half star. I'm going 4.5.
Why not?
Why not?
I am ashamed to admit, when I first watched this, I rated it 3 stars. I did really like it, but I'm like, this is kind of a formulaic comedy. But now that we've talked about it, I'm like, there is a lot more going on here than on the surface. And it like really sets itself apart from other comedies of its era. The only other one that I can think of that's kind of like this is very different, but like Tommy Boy, kind of the same attitude, where that is also kind of a buffoon character, but you do really care about Tommy and his relationship with David Spade and his dad. And it's like this, there's a lot of heartwarming moments in Tommy Boy. That's just a great movie.
I haven't seen that in a really long time.
I
just remember the scene where they're singing in the car. That's my fave. They're singing The Carpenters, I think.
Yeah.
I remember that. Oh, Chris Farley. What a treasure.
Yeah. It's a great movie. I'm not going to pick it
Yeah.
for next week, though.
Okay. So would you up your rating on it after having had a conversation? Because I feel kind of the same. Like, I don't know that I would have. I know that I say this every week, but I really mean it. Like, there is something about talking about it and like really examining it that just brings out the depth, I think, a little bit. Because I don't know that I would have come up with all of this on my own. It's the feeding off of you that really makes me examine things at a different level.
Yeah, I think I'd bump it up to 3.5. I
Yeah.
think that's a pretty good rating for this movie. It doesn't like push the line, but it is a delightful watch. So
Yeah.
what else can you ask for?
Yeah.
It's a good
No,
comfort
it's great.
movie.
I did send you a video. I know you watched it of Walter Matthau telling that joke on Johnny Carson.
Yes.
If anybody out there has any interest in seeing Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau on Johnny Carson, and Walter's telling this really funny joke, and you can see Jack's not really talking much, but you can see him kind of looking at his
he's
friend
cracking
sitting
up.
next to him, and the reaction was just very fun. It's a great example of the two of them together, like outside of a scripted thing. You can see their friendship on their faces. It's very sweet.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. I love that those guys are friends.
Me too.
That's like my favorite thing ever, is like when actors kind of do that duo thing and you can just tell that they just like hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. I think of Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson is another one.
Owen Wilson, yeah.
Those two, for a while there, were doing a lot of stuff together. And David Spade and Chris Farley did quite a few together too. Like when you get those sorts of, I don't feel like you see that as much with women.
With like
as you
iconic
do-
duos.
Yeah,
I mean,
not really.
recently, I guess maybe you could say Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande.
Yeah, but that's just one movie.
That's true. I guess
Like I'm thinking of like repeat,
Maybe
Tina
like-
Fey and Amy Poehler. That would be one.
I was gonna say Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's good.
I guess the women that came out of the 2000s SNL.
Yeah. They were real buds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't feel like you see that same sort of buddy buddying up like you do with,
No.
but you also don't see as many women leading movies,
That's also
especially
true.
in the past. Like,
Yeah.
maybe more so now, but like in the 60s,
Oh no. Yeah.
women were accessories really to,
Yeah.
they played supporting characters. They weren't really necessarily, and especially not two women headlining a movie would be really unusual.
Thelma and Louise, maybe the only one I can think of.
Chicago, but
Chicago.
that's a musical.
Yeah.
Started as a musical, but yeah, Thelma and Louise, that's a good one.
That's like the only one I can think of.
I mean, you had the movie Heat with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh,
Oh.
that's on my list.
I thought you were talking about the frickin' Robert De Niro Al Pacino movie.
No.
There's a
So one of
different
them is
Heat?
called Heat, and one of them is called The Heat.
Oh, okay, that's not
But I
confusing.
don't remember which is which. But I remember at the time the Jenny McCarthy, I keep
Melissa
saying Jenny
McCarthy.
McCarthy. Do you know that they're cousins?
I don't know who Jenny McCarthy is. Should I?
You don't? She was a Playboy bunny. She was married to Mark Wahlberg. She
Oh.
used to be on Total Request Live, maybe on MTV. She's an actress.
Okay.
Anyway, you used to see her. She had a talk show at one point, so she was out and about.
Okay.
Anyway, they're cousins. That's neither here nor there. So Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock, that movie had the record at the time, I think, for the number of F-bombs in a movie.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yes. So that's that one is very much like they're buddy cops. So that's like a buddy cop movie, which
Sure.
that was unusual for the time to have two women doing a buddy cop movie.
True.
You think about Lethal Weapon and,
Point
some of those
Break and
others.
all those. Yeah. Hot Fuzz even.
Hot Fuzz. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
you
that's
got?
it. I think that's it for this week. Next
Okay.
week.
Yes.
It's kind of fortunate that you brought up Ossie Davis because I actually was going to do the right thing.
Wonderful. This is exciting.
That is very funny that you brought that up. I'm like, that would be fun because he's in this movie. Wouldn't it be nice? I should have known that you would have done a deep dive because you always do your deep dive on the actors.
I really enjoy that.
So we're going to do the right thing. Let's hope we can do it
Okay.
justice.
Yes. Yeah,
I have tried 2 times before on the Boy Time podcast, and I don't know if I've ever done it well enough because I love
Okay.
this movie. It's
Yeah.
one of my top 4 on Letterboxd.
Oh, really?
But
okay.
I've had trouble verbalizing why I love it so much. And maybe talking it through with someone who's seen it will actually help me. So,
I think that makes a huge difference.
yeah, I think so
really do.
too. So, do the right
exciting.
thing next week. Spike Lee,
Okay.
Ossie Davis, Sam Jackson, John Turturro. Who else?
Wow. What a cast.
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito. He plays a funny guy, which
Really?
we're going to talk about that because
Okay.
Giancarlo Esposito, I love him as Gus in Breaking Bad. He needs to get out of this villain hole. He is so G-dang funny and do the right thing. And he's in Malcolm X too. He's not funny in that one. He plays the guy who kills Malcolm X.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But ever since Breaking Bad, he's been in the I am a serious villain. But he's like, in Do the Right Thing, he is so funny. He has like these really weird glasses that make his eyes really big. And he's like always worried that someone's going to scuff his new shoes. He's so good. He's so good.
Aw.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I am too. I'm really excited about this. I've never seen this as far as I can remember.
Okay.
So
I think you would remember.
excited. Yeah.
Me too. Me too. I love Spike
I'm really
Lee.
excited.
I know you love Spike Lee as well.
I do.
So it'll be good. It's going to be a good time. So
Yeah.
that's coming up.
Good choice.
Thank you.
Okay.
What else do we do? Oh, I guess plugs. I do have another podcast.
Yes, I have a beef with you about plugs because
You
you
have
don't
beef?
plug this podcast on your other podcast, but we plug your other podcast on this podcast.
I don't plug it over there?
No, you don't. I listen every week and you hardly ever say anything about it. And I'm like, are you embarrassed of me?
I plug it every time on the main channel. So,
Okay. Well, I don't watch the main channel. I listen to the podcast. Is what I listen to.
more
so I'm
people-
like, why doesn't Jerry ever talk about our podcast?
more
makes me
people
so sad.
more people watch our main channel than the podcast.
Oh, they do?
But I'll take that into consideration. I should be plugging it over there.
Yeah, you should. Okay, now go ahead and plug your other things. Go ahead.
I do boy
This is
time.
Martyr Mother.
I guess so.
Okay, go ahead.
I do boy time. We do music stuff. Most recently, what did we do? We recorded Bill Withers. That's not going to be quite out yet.
Like the Withers.
Me too. Very good album. It's the one that has Ain't No Sunshine and Grandma's Hands on it.
I have not heard that second one, but Ain't No Sunshine is like perfect. I love that song.
I
Love
agree.
it.
Grandma's Hands is even better, if you can believe it.
Hands. Was it going to make me cry? It sounds sad.
No.
Okay.
It's a really nice song about his grandma who passed.
Oh, that is going to make me cry.
Well, it's not like a sad song. It's remembering the good things.
Okay. I'm going to write that down and I will listen to it.
And I know that you will like it because you go to a very diverse church and you love
Yes,
the
I do.
tambourines.
There's tambourine.
Well, no, he brings it up. He says,
does?
The first line, I think, is no, Grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday mornings. Grandma's hands played a tambourine so well.
I love that.
So Bill Withers' grandma was one of those tambourine ladies that you love so
tambourine
much.
ladies. Oh, it's my favorite. It is just my absolute favorite. The video people don't always love it because sometimes people stand in the back of church and they start playing tambourine and that's all you can hear back there when they're doing like live streaming.
Yeah.
Like, get the tambourines away. But I love it.
I do too. I do too.
Makes me really happy.
So there you go. There's a nice little connection
Nice.
for you
I
there.
love that.
It's a nice song.
Yeah.
Plus, it's really fun to play on the guitar.
Oh, is it? Are you playing it?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this picture of Anne Margaret. Hold on. I had looked up her birth date.
I think that's Viva Las Vegas.
Is it? Look at how pretty she is. Oh, she is so pretty. I was going to look up, there is a song by Sam Cooke that I heard this week and I had forgotten how much I love it. Oh, this is it. A Change Is Gonna Come. Have you heard that song
yeah.
before?
Great song.
Oh my gosh. I hadn't thought about it in so long and I happened to hear it at Bebop's maybe.
Oh,
of
no
all
one
places.
else is going to know what that is.
Bebop's is it's an amazing burger place that's fast food and it's 50s themed. Looks like an old diner with a checkerboard floor and the booths that are shiny with glitter in them and they play 50s and 60s music.
Is it only a
And-
Des Moines thing or is it a greater Iowa thing?
It might be an Iowa thing.
Okay.
But
Because I know
there
we
are
don't
so
have
many
them up here.
locations. No, there's so many locations. They get voted best burger every year.
It's really good.
Their burgers are awesome. Their fries are amazing.
Chocolate
and-
milkshakes.
Chocolate milkshakes are super good. I've been on a tenderloin kick over there these days. And
Another Iowa
also their fish is really, really good. Which, my whole life I just always had burgers there. And I was like, I'm just going to switch it up a little bit. And I was like, dang, I didn't even know these things were so good. So, in fact, your sister's birthday was on the 2nd. And I'm like, where do you want to go for your birthday? Your Aunt Kara and I are going to take you out for lunch wherever you want to go. And we went to Bebop's. And I was like, are you serious? You could go anywhere. Nope, that's what she wanted. So that is what we did.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their thing. Anyway, that song was playing. And I hadn't thought about it for the longest time.
Yeah. It's a
And-
good song.
Oh
Sam
my
Cooke's
gosh.
great.
Oh, Sam Cooke is so good.
Hmm.
But like the passion in his like the nuance in his voice,
Hmm.
all of it. Oh, so good.
Oh yeah.
I've
Oh yeah.
listened to it almost every day since because I just like it so much.
I need to
So
listen to it now. I forgot about that song.
yeah, you need to
Thank,
listen to it because
but
man,
yeah, thank you for
that's good.
reminding me.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yes. Sorry, I kind of side railed that. What
I,
okay, so you were talking about Bill
I
Withers. Oh,
was talking
Grandma's
about
Hands.
Bill Withers, yeah, because
Yeah.
we listened to that album, but right now, Babby listened to the new Billy Woods album and did
Mm,
a solo reaction.
okay.
So if you want, I think this is the first solo reaction he's done since 2020. So
Wow. Oh gosh.
yeah, because he's a coward and only does it with me. But I guess he got some courage and was able to do
Yeah.
one just by himself.
Way
So
to
I
go,
want to I
Babby.
want to plug that. I'm not going to say the name of the album because it is a
Okay.
slur.
Oh, okay.
Not
Got
the
it.
slur, but a
But a
slur.
slur.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Are you done plugging? Or are you still plugging? Keep plugging if you have more plugging to do.
I don't I already said I do another podcast. Talk about
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Uh
What
ba-
movies are you talking about recently?
what did
I know
I
you've done a pause on Elvis for now.
I did because I watched half of Wild in the Country and I said I've seen this movie before and stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Um, honestly, I think I might skip that one. It was so
Oh,
boring.
really?
It was
Oh
like
no.
so dull.
Okay.
This like post him going to Germany and being in the army, this period it sucks. It's like
Mm,
I think it might be considered. I don't think it's considered the golden age, but it's like the set in of the formula movies, where it was like
mm,
at this point, I think nobody was really under the pretense that they were making real movies anymore. It was like we're
mm,
making Elvis movies, and
mm.
everyone is kind of in the loop of what that means, except for Elvis,
Oh,
which is kind of sad because he
yeah, that is
wanted to
sad.
make a great American movie like Frank Sinatra or something. Honestly, I think he kind of did with King Creole, but nobody
Mm.
saw that one because I think it came out the same year as Jailhouse Rock, which was
Oh,
just a bad move.
I mean, was Walter Matthau famous at that point? Would he
What,
have been a
what,
draw at all? I don't really know.
I think it was early 50s, so probably not.
Okay.
He was
Yeah.
really young,
Hmm.
which was weird to
Hmm.
see him young, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet it is. I can't imagine those jowls not being there. Did he still have jowls?
No, not really. No, I would imagine he was in maybe his early 30s.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
which I was he born in the 20s? Is that right? That
I'll look.
even sounds wrong now that I'm saying it, but it
Yeah.
could be. I'm not
I'll
sure.
look it up.
Okay. But yeah, I'm pausing Elvis movies. I've been kind of on a horror kick. I don't remember what I watched last week, which is maybe a bad sign. What did I watch? I don't know. But on the episode that'll be out now, I watched recently. I watched Cabin in the Woods and Funny
Okay.
Games, which
Mm.
are two meta horror movies,
Okay.
and that they are kind of well, Cabin in the Woods is very much a not like a parody, but it is kind of like poking fun at horror cliches. That whole movie is about like there's this secret underground organization that has like all these monsters, and to appease some sort of ancient gods, they like set up horror movies.
Mm.
So that's like kind of fun. It's a little tongue in cheek. Funny Games is one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen
Oh no.
because the family in it that is like the victims of this horror movie aren't the actual victims of the movie. You are the victim in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's very like the antagonist of the movie like takes this family hostage and like there's like a couple times in the movie where he like looks at the camera and says, "Yeah, I know you kind of want like a plot, right? So like I'm going to like kill this person now." And it's like he talks directly to the camera and then nobody mentions it. Or like
Mm.
the most famous scene from this is like at one point one of the characters, because there's two bad guys, one of the characters steals a shotgun and kills one of the bad guys. And then like any other horror movie, it's like, wow, like they're finally gonna rise up, they're gonna win. the bad guy who looks at the camera pulls out a TV remote and reverses the movie to when she picks up the shotgun, and then he grabs it and makes sure that doesn't happen.
Wow.
So it's very much like,
Interesting.
you want this satisfying ending? No, you're not going to get it. These people are all going to die. Like, it's like, oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
The whole time.
That's an interesting play with format.
Not only that, there's more to that story, because
Okay.
I watched the 1997 version. The same director remade the movie shot for shot 10 years later using American actors, because it's originally Austrian. So he remade his movie, but now Naomi Watts and Tim Roth are the like main characters in it, and they speak English. Other than that, it's the exact same movie. Because
Well, that's interesting.
I think he said something along the lines of like, it didn't reach its intended audience because it was in Austrian or German or whatever. Because he was specifically being like, American horror movie fans, I want to torture you. And they weren't watching it. So he remade the entire movie just to screw with Americans,
Yeah.
which I kind of love. I love this attitude that he has, but I'm never, ever, ever going to watch it again. It like really messed with me. I
I would not.
had to pause it like 2 times and like look at Edna in her eyes and be like, is life still living? We're still worth living? Like, is there still good in the world?
I mean, how did Edna do with it? Because we know that Edna watches TV. Did you
does.
scare the heck out of her?
I eventually had to put headphones on because she did not like the screaming.
No.
She didn't like the screaming or the dog barking. There's dog barking and it was freaking her out. And I just
Yeah.
moved her in. And so I'm like, I don't want to overload her. So I put headphones on.
Yeah.
And
I
then
can't believe she's stayed on your lap this whole time.
yeah,
Look at her. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, gosh. I just want to squeeze her little face. I can't wait to meet her. I wish you didn't live so far away.
she's really cute. Still working on housebreaking her, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting
She'll
there.
get it. She'll get it. Yeah, yeah, you'll have to start being careful about that.
Yeah, I didn't think
her.
about that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Because she watches
our
TV.
dog never really paid much attention, so we never really thought about it.
No.
He just never seemed interested when the TV was on, but man, she really is.
Really. And I was like
Yeah.
playing like video games and she was watching. And I'm like, how do you even know what's going on? Like,
Yeah. She just
I don't know.
sees the shapes and the change in the light. And
She's an interesting beast.
yeah. I really like her.
I do too.
She's a good addition to the podcast.
I think so. I hope her noises haven't been picking up. I don't
No,
think
I
she's
haven't heard anything.
I don't think she's been
She's
snoring, but she was like she snorts. She's got a smush
was-
face.
Yeah, she does. She was snortling.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, I couldn't hear anything. She's adorable.
She is. Hopefully I won't have to have her sit in my lap for all of these because she's heavy and I am very uncomfortable right now.
You're gonna have to figure out some other way of doing it. She just was not having it sitting on the floor.
No, she was not. I put the bed like right next to me and she sat next to it and looked up at me. Like I am not going there.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, that's funny.
We'll work on that.
You'll work on it. It'll be fine. You just had her for a day.
I had her for one day and I took it pretty easy yesterday. So
Yeah, that's good.
we'll work on that. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's it for this
'Kay.
episode.
Yep.
Tune in next week. Do the right thing. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay. I don't have anything in addition to say either. So I guess that's it.
Oh.
Call your mom. Support your local library first and then call your mom. No, it's Mother's Day. You should call your mom first.
Exactly.
Call
right.
your mom and then support your local library.
And if you missed Mother's Day and you forgot, this is
Oh
your
my
reminder
goodness.
to call your mom.
Yeah.
Give her a
it up
bunch
to
of
her.
flowers.
Send her flowers, send her a massage gift certificate. You need to really make it up to your mother because Mother's Day is important.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Which you didn't remember until I said.
I
Which
did.
makes me laugh.
I did
You've
remember.
been busy. You've been busy.
I was like, I know I'm gonna see her today.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't have to worry about texting her because I'll tell her in
No.
person. But then you brought it up before we started.
Yeah. And you're like, oh no.
I
Oh
forgot.
yeah. Happy Mother's Day. Oh my gosh, she just yawned and it was so cute.
She has a big mouth.
She has a huge mouth. That tongue is enormous. Oh gosh.
So
I'm just so smitten. Okay. Well, I
Okay.
don't really have anything else. This has been fun.
yeah,
Thanks for
it's
watching
been-
it with me.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.